executive director for the Greater Baldwinsville Chamber of Commerce. And that's always a mouthful for me, Maryanne.
It is. You ought to hear me stumble sometimes when I answer the phone.
I can imagine. So first things first, Maryanne, how's things with you? How, obviously I can tell you're in your home. I love the wall color behind you.
Oh, thank you. Yes, coming to you live from the dining room, one of my favorite rooms of the house. It hasn't really sunk in a lot. I tend to be a homebody anyway, and so I enjoy puttering around the house and doing things. I also have a lifetime supply of yarn in an upstairs closet, so at the rate I knit, that can last me a long time. But I baked some bread this morning, made some biscuits. We've been getting out and taking good walks in the brisk air, and very honestly enjoying watching the parade of people going past our house. A lot of people are getting out and about on foot at a safe distance.
Yeah, yes. I live in a neighborhood, and the kids, I look out my window, and if I turn my head, I'd probably see somebody on a bike going past, or, but it is 30 degrees. It's cold outside today. So at least they're bundled up. My kids went to the lake house for a little while to ride a four-wheeler. So
that'll be fun.
Yeah, I told them what's up. But so going back to, obviously that's what you're doing at home because you can't really go into the office. But when this all started, how did your role kind of change in being the director of the chamber?
Well, the first time it really hit home was when we were deep into planning one of our favorite events of the entire year, which is the member showcase at Anheuser-Busch. And I got word well over a week ago that it was being postponed indefinitely. So the first thing I had to do was refund all the money to the members who had bought tables, and we had already started selling tickets. So I had to refund all those. So that just takes a while, and it was sad because everybody was, I don't know, clinging to the hope that it would still take place, even though we all knew it probably wasn't going to. So I got through all that. But then I realized, you know what? It's not business as usual. We're not going to be doing the same things. And I started thinking about what I could do, and that would be gather and provide information. So I started making some phone calls and contacting people in the community that I knew do good things like Peace and the Be Full Food Pantry at Baker and Rotary's Backpack Program, and finding out the best ways that people could help them. And then starting to publish the information that people were giving to me from other groups on Facebook. Just anytime I got my hands on something good, send it back out there. Other thing that was really interesting is one of our members almost immediately contacted me and said, I think a lot of people are going to be struggling with this work from home thing. I've done this for years. Can I put together some tips? Oh, absolutely. Nice. So she put those together. I sent those out. So it's going to be a little different, but as long as I can come across things that might be helpful, I'm going to get them out there and just continue to point people in the right direction.
Well, and like you said, part of it is finding that information. So having members reach out to you and say, hey, I have this. Right. That's one way, when we throw this out in the community, we can say, do you have tips? What's working for you? And if it's appropriate, because obviously, you do have to vet what you send out. But I get your emails about the showcase. I was one of the people that look forward to it every year. Yeah. And I was upset. But you had said to me, because I said, hey, if there's any way to keep the money, to keep it going, because I was one of the people that had my fingers crossed. And you said that a lot of members had said the same thing, but for bookkeeping, obviously, right, and just keep everything, because it's a business and you have to account for the money that comes in and stuff like that. But you did all that pretty fast. I got to be honest.
I just wanted to get it done off the plate, move on from there. But you're right. You were not the only one that contacted me and said, hey, keep the money. Don't worry about it. And very quickly contacted me and said that. And I will tell you, I had a moment at my desk that when it really hit me that we have a very generous community here. And the first thought in people's minds was not, oh, good gracious, this has been canceled. But hey, don't worry about it. Keep the money if you need to. And that it was very touching. Thank
I
you.
think that, I think the same concept is with the casino night, the volunteer center. That's a big fundraiser. I
Yeah.
talked to Mandy the other day because, as you know, she was working hard on that for the Baldwinsville Volunteer Center, and that being canceled. But all these things are going to come back, and now that we're in the mix of this, there's small things compared to what's truly happening.
Absolutely.
But, you know, at the time it was, is that the right decision? Yes or no? And you know, now we know that it was the right decision to cancel and postpone those events.
Absolutely.
So, I want to go back to something that the chamber does every year, which is the Big Chill, which took place in January. A lot of we have Best in Bowl, but you team up with the Rotary. And when I was talking to you earlier, it seems like the timing of all that coming in and getting tied up
couldn't be better.
So Lizzie was on yesterday, and she said, as far as donations for the backpack program and the Walmart gift cards, you know, things like that, the drop-offs and stuff. I saw today that you had shared through the chamber Facebook page about the drop-off being at CNY Realty right over where the old burned dairy is, which we mentioned that yesterday. So that's actually happening right now, I believe, if people still have that, which is nice. Is there anything you can think of ongoing, maybe to share with the community? The restaurants, all that community building the momentum was crazy, and that's kind of stopping too, you know, because
it's been overwhelming, the number of people who have said, okay, let's get takeout, let's do all these things. I've been so impressed by how our businesses are adapting. Places that never offered takeout are trying to offer takeout just so they can keep going, that they can keep their employees working and earning money. We've got businesses that are going to try to do some online selling, just all kinds of things. And I guess you never know what new ideas you can come up with unless you're forced to do so. But as I mentioned to you the other day, I was thinking, we have lived in Baldwinsville for 10 years, which in some ways astounds me because it doesn't seem like it's been any time. And I am so grateful to be living here during this time than where I lived previously, where I did not know my neighbors. I lived there 5 years and, you know, maybe waved once or twice. I know my neighbors here. We keep an eye out for one another. The businesses not only know their customers, but they know the other businesses, and a lot of them will work well together and they understand that if they succeed, everybody succeeds.
right.
And I hate that we're having to learn these lessons, but I'm glad that the lessons that we're learning appear to be very positive ones.
Yeah, I agree. And, you know, we obviously have food, but we went to one of the restaurants the other night and ordered out, and it was just nice. It was weird to pull up and have curbside. I told my this must be what Nana and Pap had all the time, right? You pull up and people came out on skates and delivered to the car, and you know, we have Sonic, which is kind of like that, but
right.
But it's nice to see the adaptation, like you said. What I keep going back to is when this is over, because eventually it will be over and we'll be out. The biggest party that I can think of is actually a chamber event, and that is the Taste of Baldwinsville, right?
Yes. We are hoping that will still take place in September. We are scheduled for Paper Mill Island the last Saturday in September, which is the 26th. Let's hope we can still have that event. But if that's the case, it will be the biggest block party this village has ever seen.
So everyone says I'm an optimist, right? So that's what I'm like, okay, you know, even if things come back to normal, you know, let's say May or June, whatever, you know, it'll take a while for normal to really
yes.
back. So so when you see me and I say, and I'm wearing my shirt from last year that says Taste of Baldwinsville, trying to get it out there, osmosis, right? Put it in
there you go. Put it out to the universe. Let's make this thing happen. For those of you who don't know what that event is, we did it. It has been around for several years in the village in different iterations, different groups. Last year, what we did was we worked with Jeff Rogers from Angry Garlic and Luke and Jimmy Delia from Pizza Man, and we modeled the event off of other cities that have taste of events. And if you're wondering why I'm looking out across the water towards Paper Mill Island. And the thought being that it's a free event. People get on the island for free, but then they spend their money with our vendors, and they would have $1 samples, but then higher priced, bigger meals. So people would get to try all these different restaurants that they may never have tried before. We had live music. We had a few kids activities, and it felt like a big block party.
It did.
And so yeah, maybe we'll call it the COVID. No, we never want to say that phrase again when we're through all this.
Oh my gosh. So, well, and like I said, that's, hopefully by September, normal is back to normal. And that can be, the amazing Baldwinsville kind of coming together, getting out and having some fun. So, well, thanks for taking the time, Maryanne. And I think if nothing else, the color of your dining room has brightened my day. Because it's really
well, I'm so glad. Hey, take a look at my turquoise backsplash in the kitchen.
Nice, very nice, and clean. So.
Let's just not get too close, okay?
Well, I haven't been pan around my house at all, so this. So,
Funny, I'll have more time to clean, but will I? Don't know.
Oh, no. And I don't know if I told you this. I was in the midst of moving myself.
That's right.
And so my house is half packed, it's half emptied, and sometimes we'll say, "Oh, let's do this." Oh, I think we packed that already. So we're debating, do we unpack to repack, or what do we do?
Yeah,
it's an unknown. So, well, thank you again for your time. And I'm sure I'll talk to you this week. And if you hear anything, we look forward to the Facebook posts, the emails and stuff that come from you with some information on the whole Baldwinsville area. So thanks, Maryanne.
You're very welcome. Take care.
You too. Bye.
Bye.